Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will talk about H-1B visa, and I will answer some of the questions that come up often, and I will try to address them as detailed as possible. But as you can imagine, every case is different, and there are lots of details that is case specific, and we can't really talk about them. So for that, we need a consultation where we can set up time and discuss all the details of your case. For those who don't know, my name is Vugar Jafarov, and I am the principal and the owner of the law office of Vugar Jafarov. We are located in Boston, Massachusetts, but since if immigration is federal, we practice all around the country, and we also help our clients all over the world, from every single country, I would say. So the topic today is H-1B visa. So the questions I have in writing is compiled from the emails and the text messages and through social media. One of them is, can I obtain a H-1B visa from outside of United States, from outside the country? And the response to that question is yes. Your location doesn't really matter. You can be in any country and apply for H-1B visa. You can do it from United States and from overseas, and if you travel and if you're in United States, you can change your status. So in short, response is yes. And the second question is it better to work with OPT first and then apply for H-1B? Well, there is no such thing called it is better. They don't grade you, or USCIS doesn't prioritize or make a favorable decision if you have OPT, if you work for the same company or not. But I would say, working on an OPT for a company in the United States, that's kind of plus, because the company knows you and it's easy to make documentation, create documentation. It just creates a little bit of credibility. But as I said, it's not a factor basically in adjudicating your case. So the third question is, what occupation holder can apply for H-1B visa? Well, that's a very good question. And I would say, for H-1B, you have to have a professional position. So professional position usually defined as a position that requires, bachelor's degree or experience, basically, which is equal to your bachelor's degree. If you have higher degree, which is master's or PhD, or sometimes the degree like JD or medical degrees, that would certainly be easier, because if you have higher education, master's degree and above, you get more visas, and your chance of being picked in the lottery process is much higher. But do not forget, H-1B is not only about your education, it's not only about what you can present, but also those requirements, those your qualifications have to be in line with the employer's expectations. So job description, right? So the key is it is important to note that your job description basically has to have the requirement of your education. For example, if you have a master's degree in chemistry and you apply for a position that anyone with bachelor's degree can handle, then of course your master's degree is not going to work. It's not going to help you. I wouldn't say work, but it's not going to help you. So basically everything starts with the job description, what the employer is looking for, and then you have a mirroring requirements. And one more time, the education, whatever you present in, has to be a requirement that's required by the employer. So, and the other question is, what is the lowest degree of education that's eligible for H-1B visa? I just mentioned the lowest degree of education is bachelor's, but if you have the experience, basically most of the time in H-1B process, 1 year of education is equal to 3 years of experience. So if you have a lot of experience that you can prove, then you might be able to basically argue saying that you don't have education, but you have a experience, and you can apply based on that. But in real life, as I said, it will be extremely difficult to prove your experience for a long, long time. So for how long H-1B visa is eligible for? H-1B visas are issued for 3 years maximum. It can be shorter if your employer hires you for a shorter time, let's say for 6 months, for 1 year. Of course, you're gonna get shorter H-1B, but H-1B visas can be extended for another 3 years. So it's a total of 6 years. And if you apply for a immigrant visa or if you file immigrant petition, let's say you file for green card before your 6 years expires, then you get additional 1 year as you wait. So if you're processed for some countries, it takes many years to get a green card application once you have H-1B to get approved. So you don't have to worry. The wait time will be extended. Your H-1B will be extended, but the condition for that is that you have to file for your green card before your 6 years expires. Okay. All right. So the other question is it possible to extend it? And I think I've already addressed that question. Yes, you can extend it. It's issued for 3 years. If it's issued for less than 3 years, you can extend it. Even if it's 3 years, you can do for another 3 years. And once you have the green card application, permanent resident application filed, then you can keep extending your H-1B visa with 1 year increments. So the last question is, what if I want to change my employer? What happens to my status in the country? Well, you can change your employer. There's a very important thing to know. When you change your employer, you are not subject to visa limitation. So basically what it means, you don't have to go through a lottery process again. So you file for new H-1B application. It is no different than original application. The only difference is that you are not going through a lottery process. So you can just go ahead and file the application. And once you file the application, it is a trick. You don't have to wait for approval. Once you have the receipt notice, you can start working for your new employer. Of course, there's a risk, because if your application denied, then you will have to leave the country. If you file motion to reopen or appeal, whatever decision comes up negative, then you will have to leave the country. And so yes, you can certainly change your employer, but you will have to file a new application. All right. I just tried to cover the questions as much as I could. Based on the additional questions coming through, I will select them and I will do my best to address. Thanks for listening. This is again Law Office of Vugar Jafarov. We are based in Boston, Massachusetts, but we serve our clients all over the world, and we do handle all types of immigration cases, from business immigration to removal defense, family-based immigration, status change, and non-immigrant visas, including L1s, H-1Bs, E2s, EB2s, EB3s, EB4s, and EB5s. All right, thanks so much. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.